Real Talk. Today I thought I should talk about Cyril Ramaphosa and him going to America. It's something that I feel that we should have not done as South Africans. First of all, America has got the kind of intelligence that could debunk the whole thing of why people being murdered and land being taken by black people. There is no such a thing. Those white people actually went to America. They just went there because of there was nothing they could do here. We all know that in South Africa, for one, there are people who are homeless, who live in the streets. Black people live in the streets. We have coloreds. Have yet to see an Indian, but then white people, a whole lot of them that live in the streets. But then in terms of ratio numbers, percentage-wise, it's still a very small number. So when they hear about going to America and knowing the kind of opportunities they will find in America, they took that opportunity. And I doubt any of them believe that there is white genocide, because if they were victims of white genocide, they would have stories to tell. They'll be talking about their aunts, they're talking about uncles, kids, who were killed because of people came into their homes and killed them. Look, South Africa has got a problem of crime. And if you look at the numbers in terms of people who die on the farms versus people who die in townships, the number is extremely high. There's nothing linking these murders that are crime related, to white people being targeted, and we all know that even if we were to then say that, okay, fine, maybe there's no way of them proving that there's a white genocide. There is no white genocide. That's why they cannot prove it. But then they would want to hop onto the conversation of whether our laws favors black people. Yes, it is true. The laws are actually favoring black people. But at the end of the day, it's not about the law, because had it been about the law, we would have white people working at McDonald's, black people occupying very senior positions in corporate South Africa. It is not the case. We're not seeing that because it is not true. I've interacted with a lot of white people. I do have friends who are white. And it is so sad, to see how they're so blind to the truth. It is like they refuse to see it in their world, the world that they live in. White people are discriminated. White people are victims. White people don't enjoy the same opportunities as black people. Whereas, if you think about it, if I, for one, was in a position of power and I knew somebody who's black, who's very competent, I've got so many family members who depend on me, and sometimes I cannot help them. But then if I was in a position whereby I could hook them up with a job, wouldn't I do that? It is the same thing that I'm trying to say here, that a lot of white people are employed versus black people because someone they know holds a very high position, in those companies, and they always get those opportunities versus black people. Hence, the unemployment among white people is under 10%, whereas in black people, it's running towards 50%. So now, for people to live in South Africa to say that they are victims, they are being murdered, for them to say that BEE has disadvantaged them, a lot of black people are not even enjoying BEE because of BEE is for the elite, is for those who are connected to people who are in senior positions in ANC. BEE is not benefiting Black people. Affirmative action has failed to benefit Black people because was it working? Had it be that, affirmative action is working. Ooh, my English now is running away because I've depleted my bundles. But what I'm trying to say here is that BEE and affirmative action haven't benefited Black people. We wouldn't be having, such high unemployment rate, so many Black people living in poverty. For Trump to then do what he did, it's so disingenuous, He's acting like an idiot who doesn't know what is going on in the world. I mean, if really he wanted to know the truth, he could have easily given an instruction to the CIA to say, hey, go and investigate this genocide thing apparently happening in South Africa, because the media, for some reason, is captured. And the media in South Africa is owned by white people. Black people don't own media. This is the only media platforms that we have, YouTube, TikTok, but then we do not own any media. So the very same white people own the media. They will be reporting on this, I think parties like AfriForum are racist parties that, I don't know, like, I feel like they're so self-absorbed, they don't even see the truth. They've made up this story of white people being killed to a point whereby they believe it. And it is not true. They believe that, honestly, white people are being murdered in numbers, this genocide. It is really, really, really sad. As for the DA, they only looking after their own people. They're looking out for white people, for capital. They don't care about the poor. They don't care about the Blacks. But I believe they know the truth. And I doubt they would stand in front of people like Trump and say, hey, there's genocide of white people. South Africa has got millions of white people who live in this country. If you think about it, a whole lot of them will be living in their numbers. Look, Trump says today, you guys can get refugee status in the US. They would hop onto a plane and leave immediately. Nobody's gonna leave because it is nice here in South Africa. My wife has a niece who's lives in the UK, but so I think it was last year during school holidays, she came over to visit. She spent 2 weeks with us. She couldn't believe that she had her own room. She couldn't believe that she had her own room, because in UK, in Europe, a whole lot of people, even in America, I have a friend who works in America. He was telling me that, look, a lot of people in America, they cannot afford houses. Cars, for some reason, they're cheap. Houses, they cannot. Nobody owns a home. A whole lot of people, are renting. Only 5% of Americans are owning homes. So this white picket fence, American dream, it doesn't work. The only thing that you can be certain of in America, you will find a job, but then you will live from hand to mouth. You will not have a lot of assets like you would in South Africa. While for us South Africans who are Black, going to America would be a dream, because we don't even have jobs. So for someone who's used to a posh life here in South Africa, owning hectares and hectares of land, farms, going to America, it's gonna be an experience, for them. They're gonna regret this decision. They're gonna regret it. They're not gonna be treated special. They won't enjoy the same privileges. I mean, these are the privileges that for years and years they had built up. At the end of the day, equality is not having two people given the same opportunity. Equality and equity are two different things. When you then say to a person who was left behind in a race and say, you know what, come, let's be on the same line and run together, towards the finish line, then that's when you're creating equality. But then if you're gonna say, hey, let's go, but then I'm like 10 miles behind and I have to catch up to you, it's impossible. The hence South African government and the ANC and parties like EFF are fighting to correct all these injustices of the past, and people do not want that. And it makes me wonder, these people, who are we then to say that they're not racist? They are racist, because if they were fair, they would then say, hey, look, we've done so many wrong things, it's time to correct them. So they're not doing that because they're racist. So Cyril Ramaphosa should come back to South Africa. He must leave Donald Trump alone. Donald Trump knows the truth. Donald Trump, if he was misled, he would have then simply just instructed somebody to investigate this whole white genocide allegation and proven it. Nobody can produce proof. There are no videos of this. When there's a genocide, we see videos, they flood the internet, journalists risk their lives to go to those countries to report on those things. There is no such a thing. This country, America, is a bully, and, we need to stop bowing to them. And, well, I thought, I should share those thoughts on Mzansi Real Talk. Guys, let me know what you think about this whole thing, should Ramaphosa continue to engage with the American government, or he should just let them be? I say, let them be. They know the truth at the end of the day. And guys, share your thoughts. Like this video, and if you're new and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I'm gonna be bringing you a lot of my thoughts, videos like this. See you on the flip side. Nati, signing out.